Now, here's a little video on some items I carry to keep me safe in my Dan Durston tent. Now, Dan Durston tent are pole tents, meaning they use your trekking poles or some other form of pole to set them up. Now, before you can set them up, you have to have it staked, okay, in four corners. Now, if your stakes come out, and it happens at say 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be swearing. And coming out with a headlight on in a pouring rain, trying to figure out what you're going to do, is no fun at all. So when you first set it up, you might as well take your time and make sure your foundation is set properly. 4 tent poles are going to be your foundation. You're going to go into 4 corners, and you're going to have to determine which one I should use. Now, I normally use this 99.9% of the time, the Easton ultralight tent stake, which is this one, which I got from Mountain Laurel Designs. They run about 30 bucks, and you know they're super light, is what they are. You can hit these with a hatchet or whatever you want, and it's pretty hard to break them. I put them in some pretty hard ground. When I had made that last video of the 2 Dan Thurston tents, the ground outside my yard was like concrete when I put these in, and I had to use my hammer to put them in. But that's what I use 90% of the time, and I've never had a problem with the tent ever going down. Now, Dan Durston sends you these little things. Well, they're okay, but I don't use them for the 4 corners or even the doors. Um, I use these for like strapping down the extra from the TP style rope that comes down. Sometimes I'll put them in different places to pull out the side. Um, just little places that don't need a whole lot in the way of reinforcement. This here I've added. I haven't used it yet, okay? This one I've added to my collection. I only run 4. Again, super light, weighs almost nothing. You can stick something in the hole and twist it to get it to go in more. And I wouldn't use this in hard ground. I'm looking at sand, like a sandy beach, or I'm using it on, it's just been raining for 3 days. It's complete mud, and this goes in like butter. This has more contact because of the curves, which allows it to go in. Now, I haven't used these yet because I've added it to my collection. But these are the main 2 I mainly use. This one I use all the time, the Eastern Ultralight tent sticks. I usually only put them in about halfway. I don't worry about banging my foot into them because I've gotten so used to having a Dan Durson tent. It's just muscle memory where the stakes are. I know where they are. I really don't even got to look anymore. If the ground is pretty wet, then I'll go up 3 quarters. I mean, the deeper I go, obviously, the more it's going to hold. Now, this is a little thing I've added, okay? And these were pretty cheap. You get 2 for like 12 bucks. And it's got the clip on the end. So, and what that's used for is you stick a pole in the ground. This goes on top of the pole, okay? So it cups and the pole goes inside. You run one line to the side of the tent, and then this line you run after it sits on top of the pole. You run the line down to the ground. So now you've got a pole sticking up with a line going to the tent and a line coming down, which allows you to, and I would use this stake, and then it's literally pulling out the side of the tent more. I carry 2 of these with me. Again, weighs nothing, cute little gadget. I mean, you could use some paracord, wrap it around your pole, and you could do all that extra stuff, but why bother when I got this little thing? It's new. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks like it's going to work pretty good. A lot of people use these for tarps. I'm just going to throw it on top and give it a shot and see if it pulls my tent out a lot wider, making my vestibules a whole lot bigger where I can put my pack. Now, these little items don't weigh much. Like you think I carry 6 of these Eastern ultralight tent stakes that I got from Martin Laurel Designs. These I got off Amazon. I can't even remember, like $10 or whatever. And they gave you like 8 of them. I only carry 4. That's it. I carry 4 of these. If these ain't going to work, and I know they're not going to work, I'm going for these. Because remember, Dan Durston's tent needs 4 stakes to stay stable. If those 4 stakes stay in, no matter if I'm in a hurricane, as long as the tent doesn't rip, I mean, it means it's going to stay up and everything's going to be good. And the tighter I keep that tent, the better. Now, you also have to keep track of which way you're going to aim your tent. You know, if you're looking at your cell phone and you got a good idea which way the wind's coming, east, west, north, whatever, and you set up your tent where the point of the tent is against the wind's going to go up and above it like, you know, like a rocket ship. But if your tent's turned where the door is, well, now the wind's going to come in through where the door is under the tent, and it's going to be like a sail. So now it's going to want to take that tent and launch it, right? So first, you got to make sure your tent's pointed the right way if you're going to get a super windy night. And then you got to make sure you use the proper stake of what you want. So I would run the Eastern ultralight tent stake. I have 6 of them. So 4 go in each corner, 1 in each door, and then these would come into play. The only time I will use this stake here, so it's almost like I'm carrying dead weight with this stake. The only time I would run this stake is if I was like on a beach, in really wet mud, and that's going to be very, very uncomfortable. But this stake is like for really wet or sloppy or sandy type of terrain. And I only carry 4. They weigh almost nothing. They're there in case I need them. Because if I can't get my house set up, it's going to be a very uncomfortable night. You figure, what am I going to do? Take tent, wrap it around my body, and lay up against the tree? I would much rather have my tent staked down properly and have everything nice and tight, the tent pointed properly, and sleeping on my sleeping pad with my 2 quilts. This way, I'm really comfortable. Weather outside's horrible. That tent is protecting me from nature, basically. But it cannot protect me if I don't have the proper stakes to do so. And like I said, I only carry a few of these. This is to pull out the door or to use in a few other places. That's about it. Nothing else. But those first 4 stakes will matter no matter what. And these look like pretty cool gadgets. Again, I got them off of Martin Laurel Designs, and pretty cheap, 2 for 12. And they hook on a pole and they hold the pole down and keep the sides of the tent out. So some little gadgets you may want to try for your tent, you know, up to you. But I found out with all my experience of camping that a set of good stakes were worth its weight in gold when you actually get out there. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one.